For the Reborn, death isn't always the end. The Reborn exemplify this, being individuals who have, died yet somehow, or and yet still live. Some Reborn exhibit the scars of fatal fates, their ashen flesh, missing limbs, or bloodless veins, making it very clear that they've been touched by death. Other Reborn are marvels of magic or of science, being stitched together from disparate beings, or bearing mysterious minds and manufactured bodies. Whatever their origins, Reborn know a new life and seek experiences and answers all their own. I love this. This is my favorite thing in D&D. I love Reborn. I like it all day long. It's my favorite thing.
Hey, Todd, I'm not sure. How do you feel about this?
I love it. I love Reborn.
Okay. So your next rogue phantom is going to be a Reborn?
Yeah. See, this is what everyone was asking during that Unearthed Arcana, the revived rogue. Now this is the option for any class to have this kind of origin story.
Yeah.
I really love the Frankenstein elements. I adore it. And everyone knows I love horror in my D&D games. And sometimes that ventures into body horror as well. But
wait, oh, this is brilliant. On the Reborn from chat, when you want to hand over a piece of yourself, an actual nail, like a screw.
Oh,
I think that's brilliant. Oh my god, that's amazing. hold on. I just gotta unscrew this right here. Wow. I got an extra one right here.
Well done.
I'm impressed. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's amazing.
Rules is written.
Thank you, Valhallan 42nd. I appreciate you.
That is impressive. I don't know how to move on from that.
We don't. We just slow clap and move on.
So we've got faded memories. The Reborn suffer from some manner of discontinuity and interruption of their lives or their physical state that their minds are ill-equipped to deal with. Their memories of events before this interruption are often vague and absent. Occasionally, the most unexpected experiences might suddenly cause sensations or visions of the past to come rushing back. I'm going to tell you right now, I love not Peaky Blinders. I do love Peaky Blinders, but Penny Dreadful, the original series, fantastic look at Frankenstein, and watching him slowly have little fragments of memory, very upsetting. And I think this speaks largely to that sort of thing. So rather than sleeping, Reborn regularly sit and dwell on the past, hoping for some sort of revelation what came before. Most of the time, they are dark, silent stretches. This is very, brooding. Occasionally, though, in a moment of peace or stress or excitement, a Reborn gains some kind of glimpse into their past, almost like a dreamlike vision. So we've got lost memories here that you can roll from. You can recall a physically painful moment, what kind of mark or scar on your body, and what does it relate to. A memory causes you to shed a tear. It is a bitter or cheerful memory. Does recalling it make you feel the same way? You recall a childhood memory. What about that event of who you were still influences who you are now? Johnny Mnemonic. A memory. It was like, what was it? It was like 32 gigabytes. I don't remember. It was something pretty rough.
It was ridiculously small.
It was small. It was like maybe a terabyte. A memory brings you with from a voice of someone you once knew. You recall something that you can't stand doing now. What is it? Why do you like it now? I think these are all very, very fun. And then we have memories carried a very vivid smell. And what are you going to do when you recreate that experience? You faintly remember a place that couldn't possibly exist. What is this vision and how does this make you feel? And you experience memory you're certain is not your own. How does this seem unnatural? Could it be a glimpse of a past nightmare or something worse? I love the detail in this.
I think this is of all of these, the background you got to pick, the origin that you have to pick, that you really need to work with your DM the most on, because I think in order for both you and the DM to get a lot out of what you want to have happen and what you want your character to go through and experience and how this is going to shape, the DM has to be on board, because you are asking, really, in a lot of ways, the DM to craft your backstory. And I think if your DM is up for it and you are up for, all right, whatever, here's what I know, and I'm going to leave the rest up to you, and we're going to play along within some parameters. I think
Mhm.
this can be super fun, but this is 100%. No one, I do not believe you throw this at anybody without them knowing ahead of time, because you just won't get as much out of it. I
Yeah.
think having that, all right, I'm passing this character off to my DM so that they can craft things, or my DM is going to roll with stuff that I'm going to make up on the fly as long as it's within certain parameters, or we're going to, talk ahead of time. I think that can be super engaging and wonderful in game, but you need to have those moments ahead of time. You need to prep that kind of experience to get the most out of it. And I would personally never roll myself on this chart. My DM would roll every time.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think I might go either way. I think there's like a lot to be said for either thing. Um, I have an idea in mind for a character who is linked to another character, and I'm happy with that ambiguity
Mhm.
of not knowing, like knowing it me as the player, but like knowing that it's not going to come to fruition in a big way, right, for that character necessarily. But if you really want that like dramatic, like I'm trying to figure out who I am, that's you gotta have big buy-in from the DM and a lot of trust. So
Yep.
we'll talk
And
about Reborn Origins real quick, if that's okay.
sure, reborn might originate from circumstances similar to those of various undead or constructs. Roll on or choose an option from the table. And so, you were magically resurrected, but something went wrong. Which we've
Cheap
seen stuff
diamonds,
like
cheap
that.
diamonds.
We've seen stuff like this before.
Yes.
Stitches bind your body's mismatched pieces, and your memories come from multiple different lives. After crawling free from your glade, yeah, after
Your grave,
crawling
not from your
free
glaive.
from your glaive, you realize you have no memories except for a single name. Which, if you're watching Critical Role, that sounds familiar. You were a necromancer's undead servant for years. One day, your consciousness returned, which is slightly horrifying. You awoke in an abandoned laboratory alongside complex designs for clockwork organs, which that I kind of like. I feel like, yeah, sure, why not? Wake up in a
Ver-
Modron laboratory and be a clockwork soul sorcerer. Um,
very Frankenstein, very good origin, by the way.
yeah, you were
Also
released.
very Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, definitely. And while that specifically says you awaken an abandoned laboratory, I would actually, if you want to go with here I am saying the non-creepy version, why not be the
Yeah,
Pinocchio? Why not be the beloved child?
right.
I have a construct character that kind of would work out exactly like this, of like the happy origin of I was created in a lab by somebody who wanted me, not, oh whoopsie, I got turned on. You were released after being petrified for generations. Your memories have faded, though, and your body is not what it once was. Your body is host to possessing spirits that shares its memories and replaces your missing appendages with phantasmal limbs. And then you go on and you're a monk of astral arms. And then just have arms on arms on arms. In public, you pass as an unremarkable individual, but you can feel the itchy straw stuffing inside of you,
Yeah.
which then begs the question, are you really a reborn, or do you just have eczema?
Or I mean, maybe you are a scarecrow. I think this is fantastic. This is why I kind of like this one the most out of everything, because you can kind of do anything you want with this. There are a lot of options, and we see this reflected in the traits as well. Particularly my favorite character that I play, Rend. I know it's you may think it's Avern, but Rend. Um, but reborn traits are great because you are humanoid, as well as you can choose to be construct or undead. You choose when you gain this lineage. I really like this distinction because you could look at Frankenstein as being undead, or you could look at him as being a construct, or you could just simply be, this Edward Scissorhands amalgamation that you're not quite sure what it is.
Yeah.
So I adore that.
We did real quick in chat have a very good mention, especially since I've already brought up Critical Role, but Dungeon Mama says, isn't the Reborn kind of covered in the hollowed one from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount? They're very similar.
They're very similar. You are a revenant of basically as a hollowed one, and you have like an agenda that is built into being a hollowed one. So there is some similarities there, but you have a lot more wiggle room with this.
Yeah. Also, because I was just looking at it, the hollowed one, you retain what your creature type is, but you are going to register as undead, which
Hmm.
is an interesting difference with some of this and where you're actually going to be a construct or undead.
Right.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover between the two, and it kind of depends on your agenda. And but I think there might be a lot of people who look at Hollow One from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount and are interested in it, and then this gives some more of the construct ideas that you want to go for. You know, if you really
Yeah.
want to go down the road of I was a created creature, either Frankenstein or Clockwork or something like that.
I very easily can make it your own version of a Warforged with this, your own version of Ultron. So you have dark vision up to 60 feet because I like dark vision.
Apparently,
Um,
everybody gets dark vision. You get dark
everyone but
vision. You get dark vision.
Dragonborn.
That's all right. I got other stuff going on.
Deathless Nature. You have escaped death, effect represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. You have advantage on death and death saving throws. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and magic cannot, put you to sleep. I guess I'm getting tired. You can finish a long rest in just 4 hours. Very nice.
This
You
is
can
basically
finish a
being a
long rest in 4 hours.
this is being a construct. This is being a Warforged literally right here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need to sleep. You do the inactive state.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, which is depending on your reading exactly of that is actually in a weird way more powerful than the what elves when they trance.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then we have knowledge of the past self. You temporarily remember sporadic glimpses of the past, perhaps a faded memory from ages ago or a previous life. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 and add that number rolled to that check. You can use this feature number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I love this. This is amazing. I adore it. This is to any ability check.
I would pair this as a DM. I would have this almost be a wild magic surge type thing in where when you decide to use it, yeah, sure, go ahead. But then you're going to have a memory flash. You're going to have this moment. And maybe this goes back to that lost memories table in where
Right.
in order to make this work, you have to have a flash of the past of this past life of yours so that you remember why you're proficient now in history checks or whatever. But I would 100% every time you use this, we're going to walk down memory lane.
Yeah, this is everything I've been wanting for one of my characters to a T. Like, I couldn't have asked for more in terms of like what
Your
I want
kobold
out of
cleric,
that
right?
construct.
You've got this kobold cleric that you've been talking about for a while. You're gonna pull out. I know they've been a life cleric for forever.
I've been messing with kobolds. I'm not gonna lie, but like for my character Rend, like I never wanted him to be a warforged. He is an assembly of magical items that the radiation of them being so close in a dungeon for so long, so slowly kind of reinstated a consciousness, we'll say, from
What
various
he
people
means
that
is
had
that a
owned those.
dragon sat down on a bunch of them,
Yep.
farted.
Well, the inspiration is the Hobbit cartoon. There's
The
a moment where Bilbo runs.
the Rankin
Smaug,
Bass?
yes, Frankenbass
Okay.
breathes fire and it hits 3 suits of armor and they melt. And I always thought those pieces of armor looked really cool.
Okay. All right.
And I thought they almost looked sentient after they got melted. And so I became kind of obsessed. Yes.
I mean that all those Rankin Bass movies are rife for amazing inspiration and also creepy. I could see why that'd be your aesthetic because even when they're being happy, like that rotoscoping, that's it. That always
Well,
creeped
that's
me
not
out as a child.
that stuff. That stuff is the other guy who did Wizards and the Two
Oh no,
Towers.
you're right. I'm thinking
Yeah,
Bashki.
yeah.
I'm mixing up the two.
I agree. That
Also
stuff is creepy as hell.
Also super creepy.
Yeah. Couldn't be further away from Franklin Bass. So
Yeah, no, I was thinking of a different thing.
very
But
different
yes.
aesthetics. Yeah.
Well, now I have a couple movies I have to watch this afternoon. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's about it, everybody. I'm really excited about all of these. I love vampire stuff, obviously. I'm very. I know everyone's probably pretty excited for the hag stuff. I love the Reborn. Adore it. I know a lot of people in the community were asking for this more universal trait that you could add to a character and not just be, a rogue. So very, very happy with all this stuff. I'm excited. I love UA. UA is like Christmas. So yeah. Any final thoughts, Lauren?
I'm more excited about the codification of the lineage rules and the fact that going forward, that's just going to be a standard thing that that is separated, and yeah, that makes me super happy. And more options are always good. Whether or not I personally would do any of these is not the point. The point is these are more options, and they make people that I know, like Todd, excited. And if I'm playing a D&D game, I want everybody that I'm playing with to be excited about who they're playing and what they're playing. And the more options you have, the closer you can be to the idea of your character. And that is always good.
Absolutely. All right, thank you, everyone. That was our deep dive into Unearthed Arcana for Taw Talks. Thank you so much, Lauren Urban, our community manager. Thank you for all your questions. We will see you Thursday as we do Build's character, and who knows what we'll build or what we will talk about. Stay tuned.
And we'll be back tonight for
Silver and Steel, the final episode of Silver and Steel.
Yeah.
From it's 6 to 8, right? That's how it works.
Yes. Please show up, Todd. We're saving the universe. I really need you to be there. I know my character and your character are having this little tiff, but I do want you to show up.
We have very strong opinions about Undead.
Come watch tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, it's our final episode, and return for Build's character. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. Bye.